This video is going to show you how to find factors of a given number. So let's go ahead and start off with a definition for a factor. A factor is a whole number multiplied by another whole number to get a product. So keywords in here are whole number. A factor is not going to be a decimal or a fraction. It's going to be a whole number. And then let's review quickly the word product. The word product means the answer to a multiplication problem. So it would be two numbers multiplied together to get the answer of a multiplication problem. So if we take a look at the number 12, if we think of two numbers we can multiply to get the number 12, we could think of 3 and 4. So in that case, 3 and 4, because when you multiply them together you get 12, would both be factors of 12. Same thing if we look over at 27. If we find two numbers we can multiply together to get to 27, those two numbers would both be factors of 27. So if you think in your head, we could do 3 times 9 would get us to 27, so 3 would be a factor of 27 as well as 9. So let's go ahead and talk about how we would find factors of a number. In elementary school, you're probably introduced to what we call the rainbow method, and this is where we go ahead and we think about a certain number, so for example 20, and we think about, okay, what numbers can we multiply together to get to the number 20? If we think, first off, we know 1 times 20, and then we separate those by commas, so 2 and 10, and then 4 times 5. And then the reason why we call it the rainbow method is because in order to make sure that we have factor pairs or numbers that match up with one another, we connect them. So 1 times 20 gets us to 20, 2 times 10 gets us to 20, and 4 times 5 also gets us to the product of 20. So all of these numbers would be factors of 20. If we go ahead and look at the number 9, let's go ahead and list our factors of 9. So we have 1 times 9, and then we have 3 times 3. Does it make sense to list 3 2 times? No, it doesn't. So we're only going to list the number 3 one time because that's going to tell us that, oh, this number is multiplied by itself in order to get to the number 9. So when we go ahead and do our rainbow, we're only going to connect 1 times 9 because that's really the only factor pair that doesn't have a repeating number. In this case, we would have a factor pair, and it would just be 3 times 3, but we don't need to list those numbers 2 times. So let's go ahead and look at our next method, and this would be probably new to most of you. This is called the nines method. And with the nines method, what you're going to do is you are going to kind of make a multiplication table or multiplication chart for this specific number. So we're going to go ahead and start with the number 1 and put a multiplication sign, and we're going to go the whole way down to 9 times something. So of 1 times, 2 times, 3 times, the whole way down to 9 times. So let's go ahead and take a look at the number 10, and what we're going to talk about is we're going to see 10 divided by, and we're going to start with the number 1. 10 divided by 1 is 10. So that tells me that 1 times 10 is 10. 1 and 10 would both be factors of 10. I'm going to move on to the number 2. 10 divided by 2 is 5. So that tells me that 2 times 5 is also 10. I'm going to keep going. 10 divided by 3 is not going to get me an answer of a whole number. So I'm going to put a line through that because that's not going to work for me. Same thing with number 4. 10 divided by 4 is not a whole number answer. So we are not going to use that number either. Then I'm going to get down to 10 divided by 5. Well, if I look back up at a previous factor pair, I'll see that I have 5 times 2. So with 5 times 2, I also have 2 times 5. This is what we call a duplicated factor pair, or a factor pair that occurs more than once. So this is actually where we're going to stop. We are going to then draw a horseshoe around that set of numbers, and then I'm going to list those numbers out in numerical order, so from least to greatest, starting over here with the number 1 and ending with the number 10. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 5, 10. And those would be my factors of 10. Let's take a look at a second example, the number 36. Once again, I'm going to put my division sign, 36 divided by, and then I'm just going to go down my list. 36 is a bigger number, so if you're not sure, you can always use a calculator, or you can pick up your multiplication table or chart and use that to help you as well. So 36 divided by 1 is 36. 36 divided by 2 is 18. 36 divided by 3 is 12. 36 divided by 4 is 9. 5 does not go into 36, so I'm going to cross that off. 36 divided by 6 is 6. Notice that I have two of the same numbers here, so this is technically where my numbers repeat, or where I have a repeating factor pair, so I don't need to do 7, 8, or 9. So this is where I'm going to draw my horseshoe. So with my horseshoe drawn, I'm going to start with the number 1 and work my way over to the number 36. So when I list it out, it'll look like this. Notice that I only listed the 6 one time, and my numbers are in numerical order. So let's go ahead and practice. I want you guys to practice these on your own, so I'm going to have you pause. You're going to fill out your nines method for 16, 21, and 24, and then hit play again and see what you did right, what you might have messed up on a little bit, and what we need to work on. So remember, you're always drawing your division sign. So 16 divided by, 21 divided by, 24 divided by, and then you're going through the steps. So go ahead and check your answers to make sure that they match up with mine. In conclusion, there are two ways to find factors. You may use your rainbow method or your nines method. In 6th grade, we are going to lean more towards using our nines method because it's a more exact or more precise method to make sure that we have all of the factors of a number. So we'll definitely be practicing that so you guys can get really good at using the nines method.